Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Heartwell dev stream, the live stream series where I continue to develop this adorable Souls-like action RPG with platforming mechanics and multiple endings. If you find these dev streams interesting or helpful, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and boop that bell button to stay notified. Now, when we previously left off, we had managed to make a lot of different areas for different template text descriptions. So as you can see, when I move my mouse cursor over these different areas, different text is displayed in the help box in the bottom right. Now, obviously, these are not the correct help box text being displayed, since a lot of that I'm still in the process of writing, but at least we have the capability to provide these different descriptions. Now, that being said, I think there were a couple of areas where we didn't create the new text. For example, we have not seemed to have created a template text here for the Science and Edits tab, so that's something we'll have to add up. Hello, Twin! Thanks for dropping by! How's it going? Welcome, welcome! That is a very unique way to say hello, Twin. I think that's the first time I've ever seen anyone say hello quite like that. I guess it's almost like saying Halo, like the video game. Halo, Halo 2, Reach. Anyway, so let's see here. Also noticing that the text being displayed here does not increment with the page number, so that's something else to consider. So first part of tonight's stream is probably just going to focus on that. Just find a couple more places to present some template text in the help box, so that we can add in the correct text later off stream. However, once we do finish with that, then we'll change gears to working on some new UI to indicate when the player has enough speed to level up certain things. So for those who have played like some games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, one of my very, very tiny pet peeves, it's super minor, but when you realize how often it happens, it's one of those quality of life updates that feels like a no-brainer, and that is simply providing a way to indicate when the player has enough speed to level up without having to open the menu. Because if you think about it, if you play a game of if you're playing a playthrough of Elden Ring, you're probably going to level up well over 100 times. And many times, in order to check whether you have enough speed to level up, you either have to pull open a menu or sit at a site of grace, and that kind of takes you out of the action, so to speak. Especially if you're grinding for XP for a long time and you want to know, do I have enough XP to level up? So the thought is, instead of that, instead of having to manually open up this to see whether or not you have enough XP to level up, I was thinking it'd be better to actually just have some little UI appear around here, if just automatically if the player has enough XP to level up. Now for Heartwell, there is 3 different types of things you could level up, that being the player stats, the melee weapon stats, and the ranged weapon stats. So there'll need to be different UI for that. These were the initial thoughts for that. And we'll try programming that in later tonight to see if we can get that working. But first things first, we have some other UI text to program. Also, hello, Copper Nicholson. Thank you for dropping by. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. You excited for the dev stream, Copper Nicholson and Quinn? Are you guys ready? Are you pumped to do all this programming? Let's go. Copper Nicholson says, you're trying to decide character design stuff for your Dungeons & Dragons character. Oh, that's pretty cool. I wish you all the best for that. Quinn's pumped. Let's go. So, in terms of displaying text, I believe the help box text is right over here, manifest text splitter number 10. I'll just double check that real quick. Yep, so this is indeed the manifest that's being displayed. Oh, you got a slice of pizza, that's nice. I like it when you're able to celebrate good things happening, and pizza is really nice. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's actually a good topic of discussion. Chat, what's your favorite, like, toppings on a pizza? Because for me, personally, I like buffalo chicken pizza. It's just like, you get the awesomeness of pizza with the awesomeness of buffalo chicken, and it's a little spicy, and it's quite good. Alright, so where are we? We need, okay, Science and Access menu. Actually, now that I think about it, I need to display the text on it. Topper Nicholson says, teriyaki chicken, shrimp, and garlic. Ooh, nice. Alright. Alright, players page display checks. Now you have 48-1. Okay, so that's for displaying that. Who says pineapple, jalapeno, Italian sausage? Ooh, that is a unique combination of toppings. I never really thought about those before. What would that even taste like? Would that be like, it would be savory, it would be a little spicy, and it would be sweet. Interesting. Alright. So I think... Menu page. Okay, here's what we need. Menu page selection checks. Yep. All right. I believe these are the droids we are looking for right here. Chat. Line 677 says manifest for everyone master. So yep. All right. Here we are. Here we are. This is exactly what we want. So what I was looking for, chat, is the area where we define which what the text is when the mouse is over that location. Nope, now we found it. Alright. Then we need to find this as must be different than 5. Okay. Then it's an access menu button. So, as I was saying, chat, these right here are the droids we are looking for. Because it'll display, in theory, what we need for when the mouse is over that specific area. We just need the location, which I might have somewhere in here, but we'll need to do some searching. Go on over here and scroll on up. Gosh darn it, now all I can think about is pizza. Antomicx says, right now you're trying to decide on your character's visual design. You feel like if you can at least see him visually, you can get ideas or what to name him. Alright, Copper Nicholson, do you have like, have you written down like some descriptions of like what you want the characters to look like? Since I find that can be helpful when trying to either find or create like an image for like a Dungeons and Dragons character. If I've written down like some basic like physical details and like the different colors of clothes, things like that, that can be helpful in helping to visualize it. And a technique I often like to do when I'm trying to picture whether it's a character in a story I'm writing or a location is I actually close my eyes and then really just try to imagine with every fiber of my being that character or that location. All right. Well, that describes the class Copper Nicholson, but I'm referring to just the physical appearance, not like stats or anything, just like what clothes do they wear, how tall or short are they, you know, things like that. Since all of those can help you decide visual design. Now, if you're saying like, oh, I know he's a paladin or something, but you don't know what to even make them look like, well, that's a different thought process. But I was curious if you had had like some details written about like at least some basic physical features. Ah, here we are. Those for science and it's tab button. I see. So we have not defined that location, which means we need to define it. All right. Top left corner of the manifest menu. So, the coordinates of our Science and Answers menu. Top left, 326, 261. Copper Nicholson says, while he's wearing his armor, he's going to be a strong knight-style figure. Think of Intimidate or of Dinjarin and Mandalorian. His class allows him to wear heavy armor without strength requirements, so you want to lean into that. Underneath, they're very scrawny, almost indistinguishable from a lady. 0 points in physical strength. Okay, so essentially, what you're describing, Copper Nicholson, would be like a rather tall, thin, lanky sort of knight. Does that sound about right? So like the armor would look intimidating, but underneath it, it's that. All right, and you'll have hair dye in their hair. Okay, so I guess what then in that case, Copper Nicholson, my question would be, do you have a color in mind for like the armor, any armor pieces or things like that? Because if not, you could probably just search like tall, thin knight or something like that. Or even, and that might be at least a good starting point. Because I'm sure there have to be designs out there for like tall, thin knights. All right, bottom right corner, 370 to 88. Nice. All right, so now we have that. I believe now we just need a reference based off the code that we see here. $147, all that. Copper Nicholson says, yeah, basically very tall and thin. Subclass almost allows him to have a Spider-Man gameplay. So the Peter Parker's physical build is also appropriate. Makes sense, okay. I mean, honestly, if it's based off of Spider-Man, Copper Nicholson, you probably could find some artwork of like a Spider-Man knight. Like, that's probably a thing that someone has drawn somewhere. You know? So 261. No, it is 261. How about that? Alright, so it seems to be an Zats match, seemingly. Okay. I see. Well, like I said, Copper Nicholson, you should probably start with just searching for, like, a Spider-Man Knight artwork or something like that. That would probably get you pretty close. So let's add this to be just the default text. All right. Now we have the details in mind. So 326. 370. So what I'm doing right now, Chad, is just entering these offset values so that they apply, so that the rectangular region on screen that is applicable to the to this Saints and Aids menu tab is applicable based off these offsets from the health bar, since the health bar is always in the same place on screen. Cover also says you chose Tabaxi because of their super speeds. I see. What is my favorite type of cat? That is a good question. I'll have to think about that. What's your favorite type of cat, Copper Nicholson? Because when I think of a cat, I think of, like, those cats come in. There are many different types of cats. A hedgehog is not a cat, though. So, if I have to pick a cat, I'd probably say something like a lynx. They're like just kind of halfway between a mountain lion and a house cat. What about you, Quinn? What's your favorite type of cat? Alright, let's see if this works. Quinn says you like fluffy orange cats or black long-haired domestic cats. So essentially, you like Garfield, and you like essentially the black cat that's like constantly in various cartoons or animations. So I guess Tom isn't really like Tom from Tom and Jerry isn't. I guess that's more of a gray cat. Ah, I see. Hyenas are not cats, though, Top Nicholson. All right, so let's take a look at this. So access that. Aha! Look at that. See? I move this around. There we go. T'Challa is no floof. That's a very specific requirement. Is no floof. Excellent. All right. So that's there now. Now we have that. works exactly as intended. Alright. So we have that area. Now we just need something that, like, increments with these pages. Because currently they absolutely are not incrementing with the pages. Alright. Quinn says, yeah, you always found the hyena family fascinating. How come? Is it because they are just so vicious? Or is it because they're kind of like an in-between of many different types of species? Wait, so what you are saying is the hyena is the official cat dog before there was cat dog. I see, now it makes sense. It all makes sense. Actually, chat, did any of y'all watch the old Nickelodeon TV show Cat Dog? Because it's like, I vaguely remember it. Like, genuinely the only episode I can think of off of, like, I remember the character because it's a very unique design, just a cat, half dog. Very silly design. But, like, genuinely, like, I cannot for the life of me remember, like, much about what the episodes were actually about beyond, like, one. And that one episode that I very, very vaguely remember. You said Cat Dog really unnerved me? Ah, I see. That might be why I don't remember it very much either. Maybe it was, like, one of those shows. I was like Courage the Cowardly Dog, where it's, like, stuff like that. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's almost like a void, as though like the show existed, but it's just kind of like some amorphous blob that I can barely remember. Like, the only episode I remember of Cat Dog, and it's only a tiny detail about the episode, is like I think they were like jumping on the backs of like various vehicles on a highway. And the reason why they were doing that is because all the cars were going to the end of the highway. And I don't mean like the end of the highway as in like a dead end. I mean quite literally they were driving to like a steep cliff that went into some like amorphous void. And the cat dog was trying to just avoid going to the end of the highway, basically. Now, I genuinely don't remember like what the plot of that episode was or like what the main point was. I just vaguely remember that scene. And that's like the only cat dog scene I can think of. All right. So 81 in test. Okay. I think the others are fine. Like, if I'm here. Yeah. That's all good. Alright. So, in terms of that. I think I've got a template test here. Help box. Quinn asked, I find it disturbing that Cat Dog had lower nut bodies. I always just thought of it as a cartoon thing, you know? Like, cartoons can do some pretty wacky stuff. So I think that was just kind of, like, that's just kind of how I viewed it. I mean, when you think about it logically, it seems very odd. But because it's a cartoon, it's like, cartoons can do pretty stuff that's pretty out there. And that's kind of a point. Oh, that was like that Lion King spin-off series, wasn't it? I never watched it. I just knew it existed. Okay, so we have that. I think that fulfills the first thing we were trying to do tonight, which was just program those other zones. Yeah, so we've done that. Okay. Well, cross that off the to-do list, chat. So, now we get to move on to some new stuff. UI time. So, let's think of what would be a good spot to put our UI at. Well, actually, I think the first thing we're going to need, and I'm pretty sure my notes will say this as well. Yeah, so we did come up with a calculation for it, but we need to actually... I'm gonna make it a little new. Yeah, so it's going to have to be the healing charge UI, so we have to actually update the healing charge UI. Alright. Quinn says, yeah, you were very literal when you were younger, so it wasn't realistic, so you couldn't wrap your head around it. I have a still questions. Ah, I see. Gotcha. Ah, I see. Okay. All right, so here's a question for you, chat. What is the best Disney spin-off show? Not Disney show, because that's a fairly, there's a very narrow field of shows that can rise to that level. But like a spin-off show, in other words, like a show that is a spin-off of a Disney movie or other IP. So, for example, that would mean like Quinn says Andor. Great choice. That is technically true. So that is true. Andor's amazing. But what if we like also said not Star Wars IPs either? Yep. In other words, like add the new UI to the healing charge. Okay. When asked, would Maleficent the movie count? I haven't seen Maleficent the movie, so I don't know. Like, is the argument that Maleficent is a spin-off of I asked the question is it a TV series? Because we're not talking about a movie here. We're talking about a spin-off TV series, not a spin-off movie. Copper Nicholson says, I heard the Tangled show was that, but you never finished it due to... I see. Well, I'm interested to hear, because I have my own opinions on this, but curious to hear what you all hear. Alright. So we determined the question last stream. Alrighty. Okay, so according to my calculations, fair enough, Copper Nicholson. I appreciate you dropping by. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Let's see, add the new UI to that. Alright, so the equation is player at speed greater than 0? Is melee at speed greater than that? Plus is... Okay. Alrighty. So what that tells me we need... So what we're doing with this equation, chat, is essentially just making different combinations of what's being displayed. So there's 8 combinations. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will need 8 frames. Well, technically 9 if we include not having any active. Actually, wait. No, we need 7 frames because the 8th one is the default one. I think. Yeah, it says, because if it's maximum, it'd be 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is equal to 7. So we will copy that. We shall paste that here, and here, and here, and here, and here. All right. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your night, Copper Nicholson. All right. So this is the first step, just having our little copies here. Next up, we have to actually adjust the size of this object here to make it large enough to contain our things. Now, hey, welcome back, Wed. So here's a question for you. There's 2 different designs I could see here for indicating whether a player has leveled up. And bear in mind, this plus sign here is representative of how many healing charges are left, and this is what's in the top left corner of the screen. Of the screen. So bear with me for a second while I explain something. So as you can see, it's up there, and where these things would appear is like right over here. My question for you, Quinn, is: do you have a preference on design A, right over here, or design B? Because the idea behind design A is that the player levels, melee levels, and range levels each have their own little UI thing to make it very, very clear, even at a glance, that yes, there's multiple things to level up. Whereas the design B is meant to be a bit more condensed so that it takes up less of the screen if it is active. But either way, the intent is to indicate to the player, hey, you can level something up without them having to actually open the manifest to check whether they've exceeded the XP threshold. So, you like B, it's compactness to the point. All right, we'll try with this one then. That'll also save a bit on memory, just because we'll have a smaller object to work with. So let's pull back open the UI. Now, in terms of how much distance we need. Okay. So according to my thingy here, this is 48 pixels wide. We'll need an extra. We'll need an extra pixel to keep on the left and right. So, for the sake of argument, we'll say we need 50 more pixels. Quinn says, "What's my favorite Disney spin-off show?" Okay, so my favorite Disney spin-off show would have to be Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. And that's because that genuinely feels like it could be a show unto itself. Like, it's that good. Like, I have not personally watched the Tangled movie. I've heard it's quite good. But the Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure is quite a good show on its own merits. Have you seen Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, Quint? As if you have not, I would highly recommend it. Okay, so we need 50, so let's make this width 82. All right. So I think the way we want to handle this is like, yeah, like that. Parse it, you let it. Ah, gotcha. Alright, I think that'll be a good thing here. But now, Rad, this would, we have to remember, chat, the logic behind this. So, you know, we might actually want to take a moment and think of which things should be displayed at once, because it's a logic puzzle, basically. So, let's see here. So, that's our equation right there. I don't know. Okay, there we go. I was wondering why it wasn't popping up. Okay, so let's see here. 0 equal none. 1 is equal to P. Well, player. 2, yeah, player stats. 2 would be equal to melee stat. 3 would be equal to player stats and melee stat. 4 is equal to Quinn says, other Disney princesses, your favorites in order is Tiana, Merida, and Rapunzel. Interesting, okay. I don't remember Tiana and Merida. I would say if we were just going based off the movies, favorite Disney princess would probably be either Rapunzel or Mulan. But anyway, what I like about Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure is it has like one long, cohesive narrative, has good character development, and it actually has music numbers as well, which is really saying something for an animated show that was meant just to be a spin-off. But genuinely felt like the people who made that show actually had a story they wanted to tell, and it wasn't just like, oh, let's just make a spin-off series to make the spin-off series. Tiana saw the princess in the front. Her whole story was wanting to start her own restaurant by her own person. Ah, I see. And who is Merida? Alright. Player stat and meta stat. With that 4, that's just going to be the range stat. 5 would be player stat and ranged stats. Mary was a Scottish princess participated in an archery contest to win her own hand in marriage to become the Queen of Scotland. Oh, was she the princess in the movie Brave? Was that where that's from? So I have not seen that movie. Ah, I see. The sets would be if melee stat and ranged stat. 7 is equal to mirror stat, melee stat. Okay, so, you know, I say, Antomicx, why I've been typing for the past couple minutes. The reason for that is just to make sure I understand the logic here of which animation frame corresponds to which icon should be visible. So, with that in mind, this one is correct. This one needs adjustments. The one is just the player stat, so we'll delete those. Move this a bit closer. Actually, Why do we have the plus at the end? It's kind of pointless. Like, no, genuinely pointless. Because we already have the plus on the left. Now we're talking. Alright. There's that. So what I'll do now is I'll copy these all over, and we will make adjustments. Okay, so 1 is just the player, 2 is just the melee. Now we have the M. I believe we're at 3, so that is player and melee stats. What's fascinating about this chat is the whole logic that we're using here is basically just how binary works. It's using multiple 0s and 1s, with each one representing a 1, a 2, and a 4 respectively, and that's how we get these different combinations of values. But for computers, it's very efficient. Okay. Oop. So 5 is player stat and range stat. We'll move that over there. This is melee stat and range stat, and 7 would be all of them. Perfect. Now if we go through these, obviously defaults, nothing. Plus P, plus M, plus PM, plus R, plus PR, plus MR, and then plus PMR. When it says, you liked Mulan too, but the Li Shan romance seemed iffy to you with all that. And Tiana and Rapunzel's story, their princess saw them for who they were, no pretenses, all ended up supporting their dreams, which seemed equal partnerships. I see. So you kind of like those overall stories, Kurt. I was talking more so from like a character standpoint. Like, it's really hard to get more hardcore than someone who's like my parents is not able to go to go to war, so I will go to war in their stead. Like, that's like, it's very powerful stuff. Alright, so we have these here, but that's only part of this. We also have to consider this needs to apply for all of these, and this is going to be a bit more of a process. Very much alike. So, I think the simplest way to handle this is we ultimately need is the frame for each of these. Move that over here. Very much alike. I do like the creative ways we've used like these animation directions in Fusion 2.5, because I sincerely doubt that this was the intended purpose for this when this software was created, but it's been really helpful for like making custom UI, all through the power of algebraic equations. Alright, so now we'll copy that. We essentially just need 7 of these frames. Delete all of those. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Next up, the M. Alright, there we go. Quinn says, you think Clickteam Fusion 2.5 should give you a sponsorship given the really out-of-box allocations you were designed? I appreciate the statement of support, Quinn. Well, listen. It's a very capable piece of software. I've used it for many years. I am not sponsored. I am just a fan. You know. Let's see here. Alrighty. There's all that. Yeah, you know, now I think about it, it's in a very odd way. I guess in an odd way I am part of the Clickteam Fusion community. I guess I just haven't been super active in it, because like the most I've ever done in the Clickteam Fusion community in terms of interaction is like post a question about like the limits of how many animation frames and animation groups you can have in an active object, because I was the person who actually hit the limit on that when I was working on something previous, when I was attempting to design a game in college. That's a whole separate discussion, but the point is I hit that limit because I was trying to do something similar to this for creating like a custom, like almost like a custom character animation sort of thing. Now that was for something completely different than Heartwell, and suffice to say, I much greatly prefer what I'm working on right now. When sometimes looking at your work, you project what a game dev video will look like in the future. You really think it would be a creative breakthrough? Oh, really? You project what a game dev video will look like in the future. I see. Well, who knows? Maybe when all this is said and done, someone will make a documentary about this, and it'll be filled with all like these little tidbits and creative uses of the software, and then maybe we suddenly Clickteam Fusion and we'll see even more popularity. Who knows? It's always possible. It's like in before someone just completely like quotes that and puts that right into a documentary. That'd be so funny. Well, hey, you heard it here first, chat. If it happens, well, here it is. But for now, you know, it's about the journey, not the destination. I mean, I've been working on this game for almost 5 years now. And, you know, it should be really telling the fact that, well, two things should be telling. One is the fact that we still have a long ways to go. But the other is, look how far we have come in that time. Like, Heartwell has a Steam page. Heartwell has a demo. Heartwell even has, you know, custom promotional art, which is pretty cool. Quinn says, you're thinking like the crosscode video you made about from all the streams. It'd be fun to see a similar condensed version of the dev streams. Ah, I see. Well, that is definitely an idea. I'm not even sure how I would structure that. I guess it would be like, after the demo patch, do you want to do a stream summary? Well, the thing is, video essays take a lot of time to create. And I have a massive backlog of video essays to write for my challenge runs. Now, in saying that, if there ever came a time where things were like I caught up to with where I was at in terms of challenge runs, or if there was like a heightened interest in seeing like a more condensed version of how this has been being created, then it's an idea. But I'd say for now, I don't have any thoughts about that anywhere near term. But long term, who knows? It's definitely an interesting idea. Let's see here. Yo, Wonton, thank you so much for the bits. Also, how's it going? It's a long time no see, buddy. Wonton says, hope the game is going well. Got on the wish list on Steam. Awesome. Thank you so much for the wish list. I really appreciate that, Wonton. The game is going well. In fact, right now we're adding some UI to let the players know when they have enough at speed to level up their player stats, their melee weapons, or their ranged weapons without actually having to open the menu. So it's a low quality of life feature that I really wish Souls games would have. Like genuinely, like of all the Souls games I've played, I cannot think of a single one that actually had just a little like indicator or something that you're ready to level up without actually opening the menu. So this is one of those little things where I feel like it's just such an obvious no-brainer, and yet at least of the Souls games I've played, I haven't seen it done before. And yeah, really hoping to get, I'm really hoping to get a patch out for the demo in the next couple of months with like some of the stuff I've been working on recently. Because there's been a lot on the Heartwell roadmap that I've been really excited to get into a patch for the demo, but it's been taking so long because I had to like completely for the full stream rework, I had to not only completely redo the positioning and even change some of my UI, which took a while. But even after I did all that, I then had to rework the way text is displayed. So like all my fonts and stuff, I had to make custom fonts because I had to, as I started using DirectX 11, and because of that, my fonts didn't quite look right anymore. So I had, basically, it was a full stream rework, now it was a text rework, and only now, after like 9 or 10 months or something, am I finally getting back to new stuff. But that's okay, because it was important, and it will be. It was important to do that so that we'd have a strong foundation from which to build on. Alrighty. We've got all that. Cool. Okay, so that UI is all there. I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Chat, if it seems like I'm just kind of going back and forth right now between all these different directions, it's because I'm trying to be very, very meticulous about the speed of these animations and whether or not the loop is active, because that will impact how XP is earned and things like that. It's all very important that all matches properly. So we're 2/3 of the way through adding all these. We just have to do one more for the crouch down animation, which is going to be a bit more because these take 34 frames to everything, right? Wonton says, sorry, remind me, is this a solo project or are others involved? Great question. This is a solo project. I have been developing this game in my spare time for the past 5 years. And bear in mind, I have a full-time job. So I'm just one guy working on this and doing the best that I can. So like any in-game like pixel art, UI, programming, music, story writing, all that, I've been doing it. And it's been a fun journey along the way. Like, one of the things I learned, how I don't remember exactly what year it was, but because of my developing this game, I realized that one area I needed to improve on was music composition. So I actually took a music composition class. Wonton says, that's insane. Aw, thanks Wonton. Yeah, I know. Now that I say it, as like I've just been doing this as like a one-person project for 5 years. That does sound pretty crazy, but it's true. This has been my passion project that I've poured my heart and soul into as a game developer, and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, like one of the areas I realized as a developer that I was weaker in was the fact that I had never like really composed music before, or in a meaningful way. I didn't understand it. So I actually took like a music composition class, like in my spare time a couple of years ago, just so that I could understand the basics of that. And that like the music I started writing after that, it's way better than anything I did before I took that composition class. And also, this entire process has given me a much greater appreciation for what this software is capable of, as well as its limitations. Because, like I was mentioning before, doing stuff like this, where I use, because at first glance you might look at this and say, like, Antomicx, this. I want to this. Wait, that's taking a class from music to help it put in the game. Yep, exactly. So that was one area of improvement, was learning that. Another area of improvement, I mean, granted, this is more so understanding the software that you're working with a bit better. But this game is the first time I have ever had to program like true pathfinding logic, and not just like, oh, something will move towards you if it's in a straight line. I'm talking like pathfinding, where something will actually navigate through a maze to get to you. Like, I had to learn the fundamentals behind programming that for this game, and then adapt it in a unique way to try and save on memory space and lines of code. So I couldn't, because of some limitations with the software, I wasn't able to get it to work where every enemy that's on screen can just have perfect maze-like navigation capabilities, because that would get very complicated in the programming department. So I actually had to essentially create like unique logic for what we'll call soft pathfinding. So or I think I called it node pathfinding, where essentially you structure areas where enemies only have a couple of points that they have to move to, in order to that can be connected in a line, as though you put a string between them. So I'm probably not to explain this very well, because it's probably much better to show an example. Let's see here if I can find one in the lower well. Okay, so you notice how there is a snake over here, like there's a cobra in this little corner here, and it's like this gray area here is the navigable space for this cobra. Now, obviously, this space is not a perfect rectangle. There's like a little loop here and a little curve. So what happens if the player, say, lures the cobra up here and then like runs around down here? Well, what'll happen is there's a couple of nodes here that could be connected in a string, if you will. There's no point where there's like a branching path. So from the cobra's perspective, there are 3 nodes, I think. 1, 2, yeah. So there would be a node like around here, a node here, and a node here. And the way I've had it programmed is such that depending on where the player is in this area, the cobra, if they cannot see the player, will essentially go in order towards the node that the player is nearest to, until the cobra sees the player. So in essence, when the cobra can see the player directly, that means they have line of sight. That means they can run straight towards the player without hitting an obstacle, in theory. So when that happens, the node finding deactivates, and it's just 8-directional movement, as though the player were in a flat plane and the cobra was just chasing after them. But the second that they lose sight of the player, that's when node finding kicks in, and they just node find to the different nodes until they get line of sight on the player. Now, that might seem like a very complicated thing, but it's a lot less complicated than implementing like an A-star maze-like pathfinding algorithm. Because while I do have the capability to do that, it's best used for only like Wonton says, wait, that's really cool, better computer programming than me. Oh, I appreciate the compliment, Wonton. Remind me, have you done... I'm trying to remember because it's been a very long time. Were you working on any programming for a video game or any computer science or things like that? Because I think you might have mentioned it before, but it's been such a long time, I'm having trouble remembering. But yeah, so the reason why I came up with that is just so that I could avoid using the A-star pathfinding algorithm unless it's for like a boss fight, for example. Because at least in the demo, there is a boss fight that actually does take place in a somewhat maze-like area, and the boss will like chase after the player, and that's for that, because it's only one enemy. Of course, I'll use at that point. Of course, I'll use the actual like sort of A-star kind of find the player in a maze sort of pathfinding. Now, while you might say that's a really cool idea using this node finding, why don't I just use it all the time? Well, because like I said, there's a clear limitation with it, and the limitation with it is that in order for it to work, your nodes have to be connected in a way that could be described as knots on a string, like one singular string that could be connected. So in other words, we'll take here another example. In this particular area down here, again, gray areas where the Cobra can move. The places that the nodes are, I think one's right here, one's right here, and one's like somewhere around here. Why are the nodes there? Because if the Cobra were to go to all of those nodes, they would, in theory, have line of sight to the entire movable space. So even though this doesn't look like a straight line, the actual nodes could be connected in a straight line. But if I were to say remove this platform and remove this wall and suddenly make this like a loop, then it wouldn't work anymore. And that's because in order to see like over here, there would have to be a node that's like at a branching path. So now there's like a fork in the road. It's like a branch now, and that no longer works. So it does limit a little bit what I can do in terms of like what the area looks like where there's an enemy that can pathfind. Wonton says, no, it's been a long time. No stress, you forgot. But no, you weren't working on anything computer programming related. Possibly, you said rebrand, doing some computer art design. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. Well, have you worked on any artwork recently? Any computer art or design? But yeah, like I was saying, so you'll notice, like, in all these areas where there's a Cobra, like even here, it's like there is no spot where there would be a branch in that node finding, because then it wouldn't work. And that's why, like, you know, however windy the paths look for the Cobra, like even here, this looks like a windy path. If you break it down to its nodes in terms of like where the Cobra can see, it still can be simplified to a string, if you will. Now, that being said, I believe we were doing some programming on the UI, so let's do that. Wonton says, yep, just finished up the Twitch loader for your channel and some overlays and stuff, that sort of. Oh, that's awesome! I'm glad to hear it. It's a lot of fun to design UI for Twitch. Like, I remember, like, it was a while ago, but let's see if I can pull it up. How it works? Yep, there it is. So in the bottom right corner of the screen chat, you see a little death counter. So that's the death counter. I don't think the death counter looked exactly like this when I first started on Twitch. Like I don't think like the Dorothy animation in the bottom right was there, but at least like the text for it was there, and that basic UI was there at the start. It was fun to design that and like pick the font for that. And then once I started doing more Heartwell stuff on the channel as well, that's when I added you know, the little Dorothy animation down there in the bottom right, or at least animation frame. And as for like the the text here itself, that just shows the number of deaths, that's actually from the OBS overlay, so that it can be alterable with with the push of a button. But yeah, it is a lot of fun to design that stuff. Where were we? I think we were right. UI. There we are. All right. We are about to embark on a journey, chat, into a monotonous task, which is just going to be doing the same thing we did here, but for this. And why do I say it's monotonous? Because in order to get the timing down for this particular animation, it has 34 frames. So we'll be pressing a lot of buttons. But that's okay, because it's all part of the process to make it work exactly the way we want it to. Oh, thanks again for the bits, Wonton. I really appreciate it. Wonton says, well, glad the game is going well and making progress. Good luck. You gotta go. Can't wait for the progression. Awesome. Thank you so much for dropping by, Wonton. Thanks for the bits. I really do appreciate all the support. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. All right. So there's that. Paste that there. 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 And paste that there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now we grab that. Thus begins the copying. I have to go all the way up to 34. Let's speedrun this, chat. Speedrun! Okay. That's one. Okay. Okay. 34. Quinn says heave ho. Oh no! Heave ho. No, you're making me think of my next life as a villainess. Oh no. I'm joking. My next life as a villainess is pretty funny. Heave ho, here we go. Yes. Yes, that's the line. That is the line. For those who have seen My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, you know the phrase, heave ho, here we go. But for those who don't, I encourage you to watch the show and find out. That phrase absolutely describes what we are doing right here. Let's see. Heave ho, here we go. Heave ho, here we go. I have made a mistake, I think. Okay, it's not quite a mistake. Heave ho, here we go. There's a little dinosaur. The dinosaur is saying heave ho, here we go. That's perfect. Heave ho, here we go. Heave ho, here we go. All right. That's one. Alright, cool. Next up, that one. Cool. Alright, there's that. There's that. Nice. Nice. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. And finally, last one. Last one before we get into programming chat. Come on. 34. Okay. So, we're gonna check a couple of things. Just to make sure that we have all that there. Yep. Okay, I think we got the directions right. All right. It took a little bit, but we've added the new UI to that. Now we have to actually program the new UI. Now, thankfully, we have the equation we need, or at least the pseudocode that's right here. But we need a place for this code to be. Additionally, chat, I'm just going to say right here, I genuinely think that we can like program this in such a way that we only need one line of code to actually like determine which indicator is being displayed. And that's because, in my head at least, as long as we can program it using this basic idea of an equation, like the amount that speak for these different things, then we should be able to do it in one line. It's just a question of getting it all squared away. Identify location for this code. Identify the specific equation for the setting the direction of the animation. Alright. So, first things first. The star of this programming episode is going to be the healing charge UI. Sequence to crouch down. Let's do stopped. I don't say at speed gain display is probably where we want to be, but we'll circle back to that in a second. Yep. So okay, yeah. So this is where we want to be at speed gain display. Like the high 900s. I think. Yeah, 9 okay, so I went a little too far. There we are. Did I? Oh, right, because this is the test frame. Alright, well. I think this will be the place to do it. At speed gained display group of events. The frame line is will be 964. Okay. Alright, so you have the test frame line. So that's order of business, chat. This is variables for the equation. I mean, I'm going to add a line of code around here, but before I do that, I need to know the SB equations. So, you'll have to give me 1 second, chat. I do need to check some things in my, I'll check for some variables, so I'll be right back. Alright, chat, welcome back everyone. So I found the save file values that I think I need. Well, it's part of it. Like, I found the save file values that are representative of the amount of unallocated player, melee, and ranged XP. But that's only half of it. The other half I need is the value to compare it to, and I believe that is actually dependent on levels. So let's take a gander in down memory lane here and see if we can figure this out. So we know that it has to be, it's going to be somewhere in the manifest menus where this takes place. You remember exactly where. Details. Oh, I think we might have found it. Yep, that's a level up. Okay. Now switch. That's the 41 is greater than or equal to floor. Yeah, okay, there's the equation. Okay. Well, that's the ranged equation, so I'm just going to grab that. We'll call this ranged XP to level up. melee XP to... Oh. Really hoping this all fits in one line. Player XP to level up. Yep, so this one's now the melee one. Now we just need the player. I believe will be that one. Okay. Note. Okay. Oh, we got the info we needed. Next step is to actually make our line of code. Let's roll that down to 960s. Here's where we shall create our new line. New condition. Say direction. Calculation. Oh, no. I need a new line. New event. Well, start at 0 right now. Obviously, it's not, or this could be a situation where we, as compared to general values. Yeah, that's more like it. And this is where the equation's probably going to get very complicated very quickly. You know, well, let's see if my theory is correct about this. Actually, you know what? No, I think we'll probably need 2 lines now. Unfortunate, but at least 2 lines is still better than 2 lines is still better than 3. It might be an opportunity for us to add some more. I don't use any flags with this, do I? I don't believe I do. Let's check. Yep, no flags are in use, which means we can use the flags to our heart's content. So we're going to create 3 flags, chat. And these flags will be representative of is player stat level available? Is melee stat level available? Alright, and the logic for this will be simple in principle, a little more complicated just in terms of what it looks like. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the checked for a line that compares whether the flag is active to whether it is not. Flag on. There's no if statement, I don't think. Basically, we just need some logic here, chat. This provides the XP to level up. Or 1 save file number. Alright, so that's that minus that. In other words, this should be greater or equal to that. And if that's true, then we need to set this to 1. If that's false, we need to set it to 0. So, I have that minus that. Was men. Also add a 1 here, and that'll be for a very specific reason. That's because if the SP is equal, then you should be able to level up. Actually, no, it should be a max, so... So that'll yield a value. And then we need a minimum value. So... Okay, so the way this equation works is we are running this equation here, which is checking for whether or not the amount of XP that the player currently has for the player stat is essentially greater or equal to the amount of XP required to level up. That's what this whole equation here is. If it is, then it yields a value that is greater than 0, which means that the maximum number is whatever the value is greater than 0. But then that it's minimized to 1 so that it obviously says that that flat is active. Now, on the other hand, if on the other hand the value is negative, then obviously the maximum number is going to be 0. Because 0 is smaller than 1, it would yield a 0. And then we'll do a couple more of these. So we're going to follow the same principle here, but melee. And then we'll add 39. Then we need the equation. Now 1 plus that minus our handy dandy equation for melee levels. And we'll do the same thing for that. Quinn asks, do you approve of cuddly orange cats wearing bunny ears? As long as the cat is okay with it. Alright. Okay. There's that. Yeah. Set melee stat. That. And set the range stat to that. Now, why do we do all that? To make our lives a lot easier. For this equation down here. Because Actually, wait a minute. We might be able to combine these lines into one. Hee hee hee. Hee hee hee. Quintus, this whole judgment about cats, like black cats are intelligent, are really goofy and cuddly. There's, and so on and so forth. I see. I really feel like it's just gonna depend on the individual cat and not like what color fur they have, you know? Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, chat, I'm actually going to see if I can just fit everything into this one line, because technically when these are changing, so too should the animation. Change direction of animation to that. So 1 times player stat available plus 2 times meta stat available plus 4 times is range stat level available. All right, let's see if that works. Oh, well, I already saw that the UI changed up there, so that's definitely a good sign. So let's verify it. Is it correct? So right now our ranged weapon is very much, you know, waiting for levels, as we can see, as is our melee weapon, but our player level is not. All right, and now to increase this test, because I think I have different levels here. If I go here, okay, that one still can level up. What about these? What's my ads level looking like? Look at that, chat! Look at that, it works! It works! Look at it, it's glorious! It's glorious! Okay. Now, obviously that we don't have enough XP to test the player level, so let's I think that worked. Like, no joke, I think that honestly works quite well. But just for testing purposes, let's is this the frame where I'm able to test and give myself XP? Let's find out. Oh, no, not that. No! Well, I have reset my XP. That's lovely. Not what I wanted to do, but okay. Oh, here we are. Well, let's test this out, chat. So pay close attention to where my cursor is right now. So top left corner, you see how there's nothing there right now. That says I've literally accidentally. Oh, hold on, I'm not exit the game for a second because things are broken. One because I forced a reset on I think it's 5 3 4. So is it 0 that resets everything? This is confusing. So the reason why things are confused is because Oh, no, that changes that. 8, 5, 7, 4, 7. Forgive me, chat, as I have technical difficulties occurring. Okay, that resets that. Okay, we're all reset. Good. Sorry about that, chat. I was trying to remember how I set my testing frame here for saying its speed and stuff. So now, pay very close attention to the top left here. So right now I'm in my testing frame, so I'm giving myself 100 at speed with a button press. Now currently, nothing can level up right now as expected, but if I press 5 again, you will notice that, you know, we have enough at speed to level up the player levels, and as you can see, you know, that's accurate. Great. But obviously we don't have enough at speed to level up our melee or ranged weapons. However, I'll press 5 again because that'll give us enough at speed to level up. And sure enough, look at that, bada bing, bada boom. We have, it's saying that we can level up our melee range and that's obviously true. So now let's pump some stats in here. Look at that in real time. Isn't that so cool? Then we go over here, we'll pump some things into dexterity, and there you go. Now, just as part of our testing, let's actually exit the game and see if it still works. Yes! Yes! Look at that, chat. Like I said, it's glorious. We have a means to do this. And what's also really cool about this, chat, is it actually updates in real time if, depending on the weapon level, like the weapon you have equipped. So you'll notice, right now I have a weapon that's very low level, it can do this. But if I switch weapons, real time, it says, oh, well, you don't have enough at speed to level this up, because duh, of course you don't. Or same thing here, I switch over here, and clearly don't have enough at speed to level it up. How awesome is that? Like, it's such a tiny thing, but I feel like with how much you level up in Souls games, this little feature will save people a lot of like minor annoyance when it's like, oh, have I grinded for long enough? Can I level up yet? And basically having to do this like constantly like open and close the menu to check like, do I have enough at speed to level up? Because now there's no guesswork. It's literally right there. If you can level up, yeah, save you thinking time. So less thinking, more doing. Or as Dr. Robotnik would say in the first Sonic, modern Sonic movie, no time for talking. It's time to press buttons. You know? So, yeah, that's a sign. We have our nice little UI thing here. Now, obviously, just because it's working here doesn't mean we're all good, because we do still need to propagate this in the other frames. But there's no reason we can't start doing that right now, because this honestly wasn't that complicated. Like, I mean, it was a little complicated to set up, but the actual implementation of this isn't that complicated, because we literally have all we need right here and in like this one line of code. So propagating it should be decently straightforward, knock on wood. So let's take some time to propagate it. Now, for those who do not understand what I mean by propagating, it is when I take code from one frame and apply it in other frames. And the reason that is done is to make sure that the logic remains consistent across all frames. Now, there are things called global events, which can make it so that an event will apply for all frames. The problem with that is that global events tend to take up more space because they're always active. And importantly, not every frame is going to have all the same programming. Like, you generally only want to use global events if you are like 1,000% sure that there's like something that will always need to be going on no matter what frame you're on. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury, so that's why we propagate. We'll paste that there. Click OK. Now let's lower well. paste that there. To the depths. Das ist das. Oh, right. Oh. Well, looks like we have another one to do, chat. The propagation will take. The propagation is going to take a little bit longer than we anticipated. Because I forgot that wisdom at speed was not something I tested in the test frame. It's something I did in Heartwell. That means we have a 4th animation frame to update. Yay! It just means it'll take longer. It's not that much more complex. You got this. Oh, thanks, Gwen. I really appreciate it. Copy that. Man, this song just kind of makes me think of like a nice, like pleasant walk in like a park. That's just the kind of vision it gives me. Like I can imagine like walking on a trail. Maybe there's a road nearby. Leaves are falling. It's like autumn, or even like spring, autumn or spring. Very, very relaxing. No, we gotta save those changes. Save those changes. Good. Wood. Quinn says you agree. It has bird chirps in between. Yeah, it does. I'm missing something here. Huh? I just think. Uh-oh. Huh? Alright, this is bizarre. Alright, so chat, if it seems like I've just gotten a little confused, that is because it seems like there were a different amount of animation frames in some of these. And I think that was on purpose. Like, it has to have been on purpose. Right, the depths were different. They were different for a reason. So in the depths, well, first let me just double check this. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So in the depths, like so far we've been looking at the client animations like, all right, there's seven frames per animation, right? For this client, right? Well, we go to the depths. The client animation is actually a little bit different. So we go to climate and suddenly it's like 115 frames. What the heck? There's a reason for that. That is because in order for this to, for the XP to display properly after the boss defeated, like UI animation, I had to delay it, essentially. And the way I delayed it was, of course, through this. Unfortunately, that means the depths are going to require their own special bit of, propagating. As we see, the lengths of time that these animations have to last are vastly different from the 7 frames and 34 frames respectively that we've done previously. Alright, so it's 115. Like, I can paste this in. Like, I think even the speed is correct. Yeah, okay, the speed is correct, but I need to remember 115. 115. 115. Let's just make sure I'm correct about that. We do not want to get that incorrect and then suddenly have things not work correctly. Okay, 115. The number of the zombies mode from Call of Duty. 115. Okay, now we have that 115 there. Nice. There's 115. Same ideas. Nice. Same idea. Yep, there's that. Yep. And there is that. And then there is that. Cool. All right. Next up. Crouch down animation. We'll copy that. This one was just, yeah, 34. Easy enough. This one is also 34. Easy enough. Now for the tricky part. How many will this one be? 68. Okay, so it's just a doubling up. Alright, remember, 68. 68. Has to be 68. Alright, that's 68 there. I'll just cancel that for a second just to make sure the speed was still the same. think it was... Okay, 35. Oh, whoops. Speed is 35. The number is 68. Alright, 68. 68. Alright, 68. There's that. Nice. Nice. Alrighty. Excellent. Double check. So now for that, the next thing we have to do is to create one for the wisdom XP and propagate that outward. Okay. We'll start on the central wall for this, since I think that'll be a good starting point for us. So. What? Did I not copy that over? I thought I did. Huh. Well, glad I checked that. Way make me paranoid, game. Alright. Okay. Alright. So. Stop the animation, that's there. Stop the animation's there. Stop the animation is there. Okay. That's what I was trying to do. Oh, no. Delete that, delete that, delete that. Okay, so first thing we need to do. Same as before. Copy that. Paste that. Paste that. Paste that. Paste that. Paste that. And we need this for 10 frames. Easy enough. Now we repeat the process. Yep, that's all right. Quinn says, yeah, you like the Shanty music? Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's also a nice change of pace. Oh. Okay. Now everything is at the same speed. Cool. As for the frames, 10 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 frames. Cool. Alright, we have our foundation. Yeah, just so I don't go mad, I'm going to put that stand-up animation in the test frame, even though we don't do wisdom at speed testing here. It's just for my own sanity. Okay. Or well. Stand up. Alright, 10 frames, very good. Finally, the depths. Also 10 frames. It makes sense that would still be the same. And now that we've done all that, chat, now that we have meticulously gone frame by frame to make sure that we have all the directions selected, and we're going to even double check again, just to be absolutely certain. The Dust has its own unique programming. It has the boss fights. Yep. Now, chat, the one thing left to propagate is the line of code that makes it all work. So all we need to do is Control C and find the XP Dane display questions. That's just for my own sanity. Let's write a comment. Line above. Controls the ranged weapon. Okay. I've done that. It's important to maintain good comments chat so that in the future, if you need to edit things or find things, it's easier. Now we've done all that. Let's go find the XP gain display equation. Well, thingies. So. Line 1,000. Okay. All right. There's that. And it seems to be referencing everything correctly. It just doesn't have the correct names. We'll fix that momentarily. And 31. That's that line. 931. There we go. Perfect. That just leaves the depths. There it is. There we go. Okay, so. Roll for 90. Perfect. Now we just need to update the flags. And by updating the flags, I don't mean like what the flags do, just simply the names of the flags. So that we have consistent naming conventions across all the frames. Of his player stat level available for flat number 1. I'll do the same thing, but with no, same thing. That's with melee stat level available. Nope. Alrighty. Now I just need the range stat level available. It'll be good to go. All right, just like that. We have all those. And now we test. So, as our control group, we have a pretty decent set of XP here. Right now, ranged and... So as our control group, this will be just to see that the player stats working correctly, and then we can switch weapons to check for the other two. So, let's head on over to the central wall. Obviously, we're off screen right now just because of some shenanigans I'm doing in the testing frame. But that's all right. Good. Yep. Good. All right. All right. I'd say we're in a good spot, chat. Look at that. Took a little while, but we have it all working. There is one last thing to test, and that's to make sure that the XP reward thing isn't incorrectly working. I just need to find an enemy to defeat. Let's respawner, I think. that glitch. There we go. That glitch has been avoided. Alright, so what we were going to do, chat, is make sure that the at-speed activation thing doesn't, like, mess up with anything. So, essentially just need to defeat an enemy while this is active. Huh. That was bizarre. So we have a ranged weapon that can level up, but is not displayed. Yeah, so we can level this up. And I think that is because... Why would that be the case? Oh, something weird is happening at the end of that. Like when we finish the XP, it's like defaulting back to 0. I think we need to modify another line. I think this can be rectified just by updating this line as well. Let's see. What are my top 3 values mean with experience points, or is that not what you're getting at, Quinn? Alright. So, we want to test what happens when well, first what happens with this. Well, I'm gonna remove that for a second. Alright, so we do need to... Okay, so whenever an animation changes, I think we need to force that thing to be set. Oh. My top 3 values, I'd say... Let's see, top 3 values would be... That's some new music. I don't think I've heard that one before. Nice and jazzy, though. Anyway. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, top 3 values... I'm gonna say treat others the way you want to be treated. I would say just perseverance in general. And let's see, so treat others the way you want to be treated, perseverance, and see. And do your best to help others around you. So stuff like that. So it's all based on mutual respect, perseverance, and trying to fairness, perseverance, and community. I think that's a fair way to sum it up. What about you, Quint? Yep, respect is important. That's like treat others the way you want to be treated. That's where fairness comes into play. We're getting a lot of jazz right now. I wonder what happens to the cobras. I thought I pressed it. Rattlesnakes. I did, there you are. Here are honesty, perseverance, and empathy. Alright. So. Oh, well, that was lucky. Okay. Let's try changing mid-thing. So what I'm purposely going to do, chat, is like switch weapons in the midst of all that. Alright, that seems to fit it. So essentially, we just need to add that yeah, climate is over. I don't know. I'll have to check. Give me 1 second, Quint. It's interesting because it's like I genuinely don't. No, I'm not leaving quite yet. Like, I genuinely don't remember these songs. Okay, so that needed updated, that needed updated. Needed updated. And crush that needed updated. Okay. There. Yep, that's all there. That's all there. Yeah. All right. Now on to Heartwell. Okay, there we go. Yep, that's there, that's there. There we go. Nice, nice. 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 Okay. Heartwell's good. So this is some nice music. 1-7 chat. And honestly, chat, this honestly sounds like something that would be in Trails of Cold Steel. It just has that kind of a vibe to it. Nice and smooth. Just imagine like Reen and the rest of Class 7 like on a train or like a car ride or something, going through Erebonia. Or maybe they're like at a diner somewhere. Yeah, this would honestly be something that would be like in like a Wii Sports game as well. It has that kind of a nice vibe to it. That was nice. Speaking of songs that could be in Wii Sports, this. Alright. Alright. With that, chat, I think we finally actually updated it all. Cool. You know what that means, chat? We have our UI display. Look at that. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Oh dear. Just to prove a point. E. Yes. Excellent. So it's all working. Let's go. We have our display, chat. Nice display UI. It'll tell us exactly whether our player stats, melee stats, or range stats need to array to be upgraded. Awesome. Alright, well, I think that'll be a good spot to wrap things up, chat. So, if you're watching on Twitch, feel free to stick around for a break. But if you're watching on YouTube and you like what you saw, please consider subscribing on YouTube. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. You can always change your mind later. It's great way to show support. If you're watching YouTube, I have an amazing night.